Hello, it's System Review time, and today I'm going to be talking about and reviewing this. It is the GPD XP Plus. I bought this with your money via Patreon and my money, pretty much half and half, so you know you're going to be getting an honest review. I wasn't given this by GPD or anyone else looking for like a promotion. This is a proper honest review. The video is going to be split into several parts, and I don't mean split into several videos, but there will be several distinct sections to this video. I'm going to begin by explaining what this is physically, what it does, specs, that kind of thing. Then I'm going to talk about what it can do, and then I'm going to talk about what I think about it. I'm going to tell you right now, I love it. But it's extremely expensive, so I'm going to be explaining why I love it. And then towards the end, although it's going to be quite a long section, I'm going to do a whole load of gameplay videos just to show how well it plays various different systems. Okay, let's get into it, to quote several other people who say, let's get into it. Intro first. Okay then, so the GPD XP Plus. This is a different beast to the GPD XP that was released, was it a year ago? 2 years? Do you know what? I'm an idiot. I've got this upside down. There we go. That's how it looks. Can you tell the difference? I'm going to give you the specs, because they are what makes this different from the original XP. Visually, it's identical unless you look on the back where you've got that vent. We'll talk a bit about that later. Specs first. It is a MediaTek Dimensity 1200 8-core CPU that goes up to 3 GHz. It's got an ARM Mali G77 MP9 GPU. It's got 6 GB of LPDDR4X RAM. What? How many letters can they cram in? It's got 6 gig, alright. This particular one has 256 GB of flash storage, 6.81 IPS touchscreen LCD, 5th gen something or other blah, Gorilla Glass, Android 11, with Google Play Store, and TV output. I'm going to guess the TV output comes from the USB-C there, which is also used for power. I guess. I've never tried it. It doesn't have an HDMI port. So, yeah, make of all of that what you will. Specs don't mean a whole lot to me, so whatever. Right, let's physically have a look at this thing. You've got two analog sticks in the Nintendo Switch, Microsoft, whatever kind of configuration where the left one is up higher than the right one. As a rule, I don't like that kind of layout. I prefer the Sony PlayStation layout where this would be down at the bottom. But it's not a problem. I don't notice it when I'm playing it. It's perfectly comfortable. The sticks, they use some kind of magnetic field technology thing rather than, I don't know, whatever they use on sticks these days, so you don't get stick drift. Having said that, this left stick, I sometimes can feel the self-centering spring inside it. Kind of, there's a physical sensation that I don't like. But accuracy-wise, they're great. They're the best. They're the best analog sticks on a handheld that I have used since the Anbernic RG350, which had way better analog sticks than anything that's come along since, because everything else seems to use switch style sticks, which I don't like at all. The D-pad is, I like it. It's kind of odd. It's very sensitive, very similar actually to the PSP Go D-pad, except it's kind of big and sits a bit higher than I would like, but in terms of actual use, it's lovely. Physical buttons for your back, close, whatever. The usual Android stuff that you would normally have on the screen. And speaking of screens, humongous screen. It's a phone screen, basically. Look, there's a camera in it. There. Which upsets some people, because if you've got it set to full size screen resolution and everything, the camera sits inside the image. I don't have that. I don't set mine like that. I set mine to the lowest resolution because it looks just fine at the lowest resolution. This doesn't eat into the picture, and it takes less processing power for the more advanced modern emulators to render. You know, if I'm running at something like 900 and something p instead of 1080p or whatever, it just takes less oomph, and visually it still looks lovely. It's a great screen. It's got Gorilla Glass. There was a screen protector which came with this, which was a stick it on yourself job, which I did, and it was just an instant bubble fest and looked horrible, so I took that off. So over this side we've got these here, the usual A, B, X, Y buttons. They're kind of nice and translucent like the D-pad. They're very small. Some people have said they don't like how small they are. More people have said how they don't like how close this stick is to them because their thumbs touch it. I don't have a problem with either aspect, but that's just me. Other people will... I think I've got small hands. No, I know I've got small hands. But anyway, a solution, if this stick is getting in the way and you're not using this stick in the game, is you can pull it off. I haven't done that. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to do that. But this does come off. And then you've got more space. Start and select. They do what you'd expect. Shoulder buttons, triggers. These are not analog. They are just clicky, which is a shame, but they do just fine. And honestly, when I'm playing games that use the analog stick as, say, an accelerator and a brake, well, they might as well be digital the way I use them. I'm not subtle with them. It's all or nothing the way I play. So that doesn't bother me. It will bother some people. Actual sensitivity, great, lovely, consistent. That's the thing with this. It is all very consistent. And that matters because some devices aren't. You got this button here which brings up a mapping tool, so you can map your physical controls to on-screen Android controls, the kind of thing you would have if you were playing on a phone. Speaking of which, on the underside now, this here is a slot for a micro SD card and a SIM. Because this is a phone. You could make a phone call with this if you wanted. Crazy. Speaker, microphone. Mine might not work because I jammed the tool that you're supposed to push into that to open it into that because my brain is demented. I was like, I know there's a hole here somewhere and I just wasn't thinking, and I stuck it in every hole I should before I got the one I should have. That sounds so wrong. Headphone socket. Yep. On the top, power on off, volume up and down. What's that? Don't know. Probably should look it up. Can't be bothered. Really, does it matter? Hot air vent, exhaust, air intake. The air intake, there are two variants of this thing knocking around. One of them is like an unofficial one that got sent out to reviewers before this modification was made. There are versions of this that have been reviewed, and reviews have been uploaded to YouTube, which do not represent the power of this, because YouTuber Taki Udon, who's a very good YouTuber and reviewer of gadgets like this, tinkered with one of these and found a way of increasing the performance significantly, but also observed that it needed more cooling. It needed a vent. He contacted GPD and said, look at this. this can do this much more than you're making it do. You need to do these settings and you need to put this vent here. And they did. And the device as it ships now is more powerful, more capable, has better cooling. Thank you to Taki Udon. Very clever guy. He goes into technical details about these things way above and beyond what I'm ever going to do, because I just don't understand what he's talking about most of the time. But if you're into all of that, I'll link to his video below where he talks about these. Now, still on the physical side, because we haven't even turned this on yet, this is a modular device. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean you can grab hold of this. I'm not sure, I've not actually done this because I've not needed to, and you can pull it off. It's meant to do that. I haven't broken it, honest. And you can have two different things that you plug in. They're held on by magnets there and there, and all your connectors are there. There, that apparently is called a Moga controller. I have no idea what that means. But it's for, I believe, playing like first-person shooters and the like on Android, where you've got on-screen controls and you would use the on-screen thing for steering, camera movement, and then these, instead of trying to find all the buttons that are scattered around, you'd use your mapper. Yeah, to select what one of these controls what button on the screen. I will not be doing that. On the back it's still, oh, look at that, I didn't even notice. You've got a trigger on there as well. So that's kind of cool. I won't be using it. I don't play those kind of games. I've got very few Android games on here. Let's try and pull it off without trashing anything. It takes quite a, God, this is not, there we go. You've also got a blank one. That sounds wrong. Yeah, for if you just want to do on-screen controls and not have any buttons at all. I hate using on-screen controls for playing games. It's why I never use a phone for playing games, except when I'm playing Atari Star Wars with the tilt controls. And you know, I haven't thought about trying that on here. I must try that. Do I think it's a good idea that they've included those given the extra cost incurred? I don't know. Some people might get a use out of those, so I suppose it's nice that they get the option. I'm never going to use them. I'm not that kind of gamer. So that is an unnecessary cost as far as I'm concerned. But as an autistic person, it took me many, many years to realise that the world does not revolve around me, and just because I would like things a certain way doesn't mean that's how they should be. So I accept the fact that these are for someone else's purposes, or suit their purposes and not mine. Whatever. I can live with it. Okay, here we are with it fired up. This is a standard Android interface. It's not the one it came set with as default, though it is included. The default was a different interface, which I just tried to load up to show you, and it doesn't want to work. It kept just like loading, and I don't know what's wrong with that, but I'm not going to try it again, and I personally don't like it anyway, so I don't care that it's not working. But it's a thing worth noting. I don't know what's wrong with it. So yes, definitely go for this user interface at your earliest convenience if you're going to buy one of these. That's my recommendation. So it's just Android, no bells and whistles, no bloat, no, it's not full of crap that you're not going to want. It's not got Happy Chick on it, which is good. My feeling is that Droid X have done an amount with this before shipping it, because they do that sometimes. They've done them with Anbernic devices that I bought from them, and they do good things. They uprate or update operating systems and add things like the Google Play Store where they might not necessarily be installed as standard. I don't know for sure that they've done that with this, but it's my feeling that they have. There was a thing on here, the only thing actually which bugged me initially was God almighty, I can't speak. It came pre-installed with Dolphin. It didn't have lots of emulators pre-installed, but it had that pre-installed. And I went to update all of the emulators that were installed, and that one wouldn't. It would not update. So I went to try and uninstall it and install a new one, and it wouldn't. So I kind of just pushed it to one side, thought sod it, something a bit iffy about that, and installed Dolphin MMJ instead and used that. This was a mistake, because I this morning gave this a try just to see how well it worked compared to MMJ, and it works much better. My feeling is this has been locked on here because it is one that specifically works well with this device, and maybe updates of it break certain aspects and don't work well with this device. That is my feeling. I know that this can access SD cards, which most things on Android 11, which this is, can't. Android has broken SD card access deliberately for security reasons. SD cards now are largely for the purpose of accessing media like photos, videos, music files, that kind of thing. And emulators can't access the SD card. I learned a thing the hard way. When you put in an SD card, this device will ask you, do you want this to be used as internal storage or external portable storage? Choose portable storage. Honestly, please do that. I didn't. I selected internal storage, so great, we'll make it have even more humongous big storage. 256 gig SD card alongside 256 gig internal flash storage. Great, I thought. I'll just dump things to it from my PC, I thought. Hooked up via a USB cable, I thought. Didn't work. Couldn't do it. Could not transfer files to it. Maybe I was doing something wrong. It wasn't the cable. I tried several different ones. The first one didn't recognize that there was a device there at all. The second one did, but it didn't give me access to any of the file structure, so I couldn't put ROMs where I wanted them or seemingly anywhere. It just didn't work. So here I was with this SD card, which had been set a certain way, and I couldn't find a way to change it back to use as portable, so I reformatted it, repartitioned it, broke it. I had to go out and buy another one, and set that up as a portable SD card, portable storage. So basically you dump your ROMs and everything onto the SD card from your computer, then plug your SD card in here and transfer them across using this here, not that there, this file manager. So there's me SD card and there's me internal storage. And you do that, you just transfer them across. I'm not going to go into great detail about how to do that. If you're tech savvy, you'll be able to work it out yourself. If you're not, this probably isn't a device for you. And please don't ask me how to do lots of different things like run this emulator, that emulator, where can I get ROMs from? Because Google is your friend. I'm not here to do a tutorial. I'm just doing a review. Okay, thank you. So the question now is, what can it emulate? Because yeah, it'll play Android games. I've got a few on here. Goat Simulator, always good for a laugh. Minecraft, because I like to completely lose myself to a video game and not come out for days and days, and Minecraft does that. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas and Vice City. This in particular, it's on here for a very good reason. and apart from the fact that it's a really good game, we'll come to that in a little bit. So it will obviously do all the 8-bit, 16-bit stuff. You know, your Game Boy, your Mega Drive, your PC Engine, all the stuff that all the other handhelds can emulate, this will do just fine, and we're not even going to look. Take it as read. It does them perfectly. PS1 does it perfectly. Not even going to have a look. You know, all these other handhelds will do it. You can up-res it on here with DuckStation, so it looks even better. No problem at all. Dreamcast, no problem at all. Absolute piece of cake. Yaba-san Shiro for the Sega Saturn, piece of cake, no problem at all. You can up-res it all as well, and it looks even better than normal. I'll show footage from some of these towards the end of this video, but at this moment I'm not going to show that kind of thing. SD, what am I talking about? DS. Got SD cards on the brain, no problem at all. Snares, you know, all of that, no problem. N64, no problem at all. Though on Super Mario Kart, where you're going into that tunnel bit and you've got that big screen on the top of it, it doesn't show the moving image on that you get on some more advanced emulators, but hey ho. I want to talk about the exciting stuff, the stuff that is a reason for getting this emulator, the stuff that other handhelds struggle with, that this can do. So let's start off just here, because obviously the Atari 2600 is written, no, the Jaguar. I have played this, or you run this emulator on multiple different handhelds, and they all struggle. They can, a lot of them can play Tempest 2000, and that they're okay. They sort of get near-ish full speed. Has this remembered my control settings? Yes, it seems to have. So this runs at full speed and is great because it's Tempest 2000, which is great. Obviously, can't remember. There we go, Super Zapper. It works. Okay, now. But it does more than that, because this is what the other emulators couldn't do. It's basically play any other game. Whatever. Anyway, no. Okay. Here we go. Here we are. I have never played this on another handheld that could, whoops, emulate this adequately. I'm not sure which one's the break. Doesn't matter, everyone's going to beat me anyway. But yeah, this will emulate more than just Tempest 2000, which is great, and I'm chuffed. Oops. Probably need to sort out the mapping. No, that worked. Okay. It didn't turn right for a moment. Maybe it's because I wasn't on the dirt. Don't know which one's the brake. Okay. Y is the brake. That I should sort out the mapping. Anyway, that's that. So, Atari Jaguar emulation is excellent, or at least it works. Okay, next we're going to have a look at the Dolphin emulator, or more specifically the GameCube section to begin with. Mario Kart Double Dash, because this is one that I tried to run on my, what is it, Ambinic RG552, where it would run some GameCube games on there. It wouldn't run this adequately for my liking. But this, press start. I am pressing start. Okay. Okay. If you're familiar with my channel, you'll have seen me play this on various different devices. Are we focused? I'm not sure about the focus. Whatever. Let's hope for the best. I've had to tinker a fair bit to get the controls mapped correctly, and turn down the turn up, make the on-screen controls more translucent. I could make it so you can't see them at all, but every once in a while you might find you need to press one of them and haven't got it mapped correctly, so I've got them just visible, and I don't find them a distraction, so that's good. I don't remember what the controls are in terms of how do I throw this shell. I don't remember how to throw the shell. Come on, chuck your... How do I do it? I've probably not got it mapped. No, they're not mapped. Duh. Oh, get off. It does seem... No, I know what the problem is. I literally haven't got them mapped. Whatever, there you go. Anyway, we're demonstrating the fact that the emulator works and can run this at a decent speed, rather than the fact that I haven't got it set up properly, because I had it all set up on Dolphin MMJ and only started using Dolphin this morning, and not for GameCube. I was using it for something else, which we'll look at in a little while. But yeah, it's great. It runs it, as far as I can tell, at full speed, and is very, very playable, and I do love this game. Okay. Now, here's a thing. I have seen people review this device who I think had the earlier version without the venting, without the performance enhancements, who have said, don't buy this if you want to play PS4, it's not really up to it. Really? I beg to differ. Gran Turismo 3. Actually, this will demonstrate a couple of things. Firstly, how my camera is not in locked focus mode. Okay, this will demonstrate two things shortly. First, it will demonstrate how well certain things work on here, and then I'm going to go to another circuit and demonstrate something else. Here we are, PlayStation 2. Do you know, I've got a feeling I said PlayStation 4 earlier. It doesn't emulate PlayStation 4. Sorry, it's good, but it's not that good. We've got PS2, Gran Turismo 3 playing at... Well, if it's not full speed, it's certainly fast enough that my brain is saying, yeah, this is okay. Though I'm playing like a complete noob. Anyone who says this thing isn't up to emulating PS2, I'm sorry, but they've either got a pre-production model, or they just aren't trying hard enough, because this absolutely can emulate PS2. It can't emulate everything, but I'll tell you what, it can emulate more than 50%. I've put a ton of games on here, and I've only deleted maybe 5 or 6 out of the... I don't even know how many I put on. Let's exit that, and I'll show you another thing. There's a demonstration of something. The emulation isn't perfect. That hazy effect you get, like the heat haze on various PlayStation 2 games that looks great on PlayStation 2, this can't do that. It's not a problem on a game like this because it's in the replay, and really the replay isn't essential for playing the game, so no biggie. It does matter in another game, and we'll talk about that later. I want to take you to another circuit, and it's on here. and I'll demonstrate. This is where it falls down. Did you hear that? Low light settings with artificial lighting and lots of light sources and whatever. Something about this circuit, and there's another circuit as well that I ran into a problem on on Gran Turismo 4. This is where it's not really playable. And you could say, well, that's it, I'm never going to play that game. But it's like 1 or 2 circuits out of a whole bunch of them. And what can you do? Can you do anything? Yes, you actually can. The first thing you can do, and this is part of, oh God, I haven't even got the cooling on. You've got a 2-stage fan. Well, 3-stage. You've got off, on a bit, on a lot. You totally want it on a lot when you're emulating PS2. But you've got something else, courtesy of Taki Udon. Turbo mode. It doesn't recommend using this a lot because generates heat, uses up the battery a lot. So, okay. Then we can go to various other settings and turn them down. Go to 1 by graphics mode. What was the other thing I did? Turn that blending down. I don't even know what it does. Aspect ratio, we could turn that down as well because we've got it all on widescreen. Basically just a whole load of stuff. There was something else I did and I've forgotten what it was. Yeah, we'll turn that off. We'll go with that. It's not going to be perfect. Are you sure? Cancel. We didn't want to do that. Continue. That's what. It's still slow, but it's just enough to like get you through the game so you can progress onto another circuit. It's not going to look great. It's going to be kind of slow and tedious. You don't, you know, if you want to play Gran Turismo, you're just going to have to accept that there are 1 or 2 circuits that it's going to struggle with, but the rest of the game is great. So you just get through these as quick as you can, and maybe don't do a endurance race on a night circuit. That would be bad. But here we are. It's still playing better than like the easier circuits would on some other handhelds, older handhelds, or even current handhelds. The RG552 can't do this at all on any circuit. It won't play PS2. And there are other ones that will run the emulator, but honestly they can't do anything useful or meaningful. So there's that. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. We'll skip ahead. I'm going to hit pause and start recording when we get to a certain point in this game, and you'll see why. Alright, I've only just got it loaded up. We haven't got to the bit that matters. We'll have a quick cycle around. This is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It looks, well, those of you who are familiar with my channel will have seen me play San Andreas on the PS4, which emulates the PS2, and it has a bug. And this has that same bug, and that is shadows in the air. I don't know why it does it, but look at that. He's got a ghost sort of shadow thing behind him. I don't know if the camera's even picking it up. You get ghosting on stuff where, I don't know, is it light? Is it the way the lighting works? But it's like emulated versions of this game just don't look right. It's lacking clarity because of this weird ghosting shadow. And it's a shame because this game looks so much better than the basic Android version, and honestly better than the PC version. Maybe not as high a res, or at least not on a PS2. Here we've got double the res, so it's really quite crisp. But that ghosting, spoils it. It doesn't ruin it. It doesn't render it unplayable. And honestly, if it wasn't for this other issue, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but you can really see the ghosting on that lamppost. I'm waiting for another effect to kick in, and again, it's the heat haze. The heat haze that you get on the PS2 that you don't get on other versions of the game. On here, this emulator can't, for whatever reason, do the heat haze, and I have messed around with the settings a lot, and maybe there is a setting that I'm unaware of and haven't found, but on default settings or anything anywhere near default settings, or with just basic tinkering, the heat haze is broken and it breaks this game. Let's just hang around here. Here we go, heat haze kicking in now. Look at that. It's broken. I mean, you could play it, but it looks ridiculous, and you're going to get into a gunfight with that going on. So that's the only significant problem I've found with this emulator on here. There are certain games that have issues. It's a shame that it's on games that I really like. Gran Turismo, I believe, is still playable. You know, you just turn on the turbo and turn down everything and get through that circuit, because all of the other circuits work really, really well. San Andreas, honestly, I wouldn't bother, and that's why I've got the Android version installed, and while I think it's an inferior version, it's not broken. All of the look at this game list. These all work, and it's not like I've installed every single game. When I say these all work, Shadow of the Colossus, it's borderline. I haven't reached the Colossus yet. It slows down when you're on the horse. Tweaking helps, but it's challenging, and I think it might slow down ridiculously when you reach Colossus. But anyway, all of this other stuff is great. So anyone who says, no, you can't play PS4, well, you wait until you see the gameplay footage towards the end of this video, and yeah, decide for yourself. Okay, let's go back to Dolphin, because this didn't work when I was playing Dolphin MMJ, but this is the version of Dolphin that came pre-installed. There may or may not be some stuttering. Depends what setting I've got here. You can preload all of your shaders before the game starts, and it takes a little while for the game before the game starts, but then you don't get any stuttering at all. And I can't remember if I got that set or not, but I didn't think this was going to work. Whoops. I thought there's just no way. It didn't work on MMJ. It had some screen glitching, but here we are with the pre-installed version of Dolphin. Oh my goodness, it's so good. I've got other Wii games on here as well that work either adequately or really well. I had to tweak a bit for Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, or whatever it's called, I can't remember. That took some tweaking. Mario Galaxy is on here. That works great, though getting the whole Wiimote thing so you can point, I struggle with that. Anyway, let's get away from that. And Now you've seen more or less what it can do, I'm gonna talk about what I think about it. Okay, so as you might have gathered, because I've said it already, I love this thing. I'm going to turn the fan down. Yeah, there we go. It blows me away. First things first, this is ridiculously expensive. How much you pay for it depends firstly on where you get it from, and secondly which model you get. There is a 128 gigabyte model which I don't think DroidX UK are selling, but I've got DroidX.net up. I don't know where they ship from. They're selling the 128 gig version for £376.03. That's a very specific price. Prices will vary and fluctuate with time because that's what things do, and everything's getting more expensive at the moment, but then technology gets cheaper, so who knows what you'll pay for it. I don't know where that's shipping from. I don't know how long it would take to get to you. I bought this, the 256 gigabyte model from DroidX UK. I'll put links down below. This is a 256 gig model. It cost £439.95. And DroidX very kindly included this here carry bag box thing case, which is great because I never end up picking up cases for handhelds and wind up not taking them anywhere because I'm scared I'm going to scratch them. So it's really nice to have that case with it. £439.95, so we'll call it £440. That is a very, very expensive handheld. In terms of performance versus price, it doesn't stand up well to a lot of other handhelds, which are either cheaper and or more powerful. The Steam Deck knocks spots off of this in terms of price and performance. No argument. That is a more powerful, more capable handheld, and you can get it cheaper than this. Whichever version you get, it's going to be more powerful than this. Here's the thing. You can buy this now. You've not got to sit on a waiting list and wait months for it to arrive. I ordered this from Droidbox. It arrived. Well, I ordered it late in the day. If I'd have ordered it mid-afternoon instead of early evening, it would have arrived the next day. Not 6 months later, or however long you've got to wait, either on a waiting list or crowdfunding. You've got other handhelds that you can buy, but you've got to go through Indiegogo or whatever. And I'm like, I don't do either of those. I don't pre-order anything. I don't go through crowdfunding. That, for me, means there are an awful lot of handhelds that I'm not going to buy. And the Steam Deck is too big for me. I probably would think otherwise if I had one in my hand and was playing it and going, wow. But I don't, and I'm not likely to anytime soon. Size matters, to quote Ratchet and Clank. There are so many size matters or size doesn't matter jokes that I could make. This is, it's a nice size. It's got this 20:9 ratio screen, which it's too wide. I would like it to be a 16:9 ratio screen and the thing be not quite as wide, but you know, it's not a huge big deal. A lot of games on various emulators, you can put them in widescreen mode, particularly PS2 games, which is great. And I play them in that mode if the option is there. So price versus power. I mean, there are other handhelds that are coming out that are not quite out yet, and I'm thinking about the Odin and the Odin Pro and the Odin Lite. That is the most comparable thing to this in terms of performance, and it's price and performance, it offers better value. But how do you get hold of one? Are they still on Indiegogo? Are they still... You can't just order one and have it arrive the next day. And then you've got the INEO Air. Same thing. I mean, it's powerful. It's more powerful than this. But you can't get one. You've got to wait. And then this thing's absolute pièce de résistance, if that's the right phrase, battery life. This thing will kick all of them into the weeds in terms of battery life. And that, with a handheld, really, really matters. You've got this super duper fandangled handheld that plays amazing games or emulates the most gobsmackingly powerful, slightly retro game systems, but your batteries run out in an hour and a half or 2 hours or something. Well, duh. If you've got to plug it in, well, then you're going to be at home or somewhere. You know, I want to be able to play in the middle of a field. And if it's only going to play for an hour and a half or 2 hours or something, not good enough. You've got your Steam Deck, which will play amazing games. And I'm not knocking the Steam Deck. It's a really impressive piece of kit and will play really impressive PC games. But if you've got to be at home and have it plugged in to play for more than a couple of hours, you might as well just play on a gaming PC at home. That's what I do. Handheld portability is about being able to go out and play somewhere, not at home, outdoors, on a bus, in a waiting room, not plugged in, and you want decent battery life. This, I played PS2. I haven't run it in. I haven't managed to run the battery into the ground because I get eye strain and a headache before the batteries run out. But just calculating a little bit, an hour of PS2 on this ran the battery down by 15%. An hour of Wii ran the battery down by 20%. So even playing Wii, optimistically you could play 6 hours of Wii on here. That's if it's consistent, if the battery drain at high battery is the same at low battery. Do you know what I mean? If it's consistent right the way through the charge level, you could maybe get 6 hours out of it. Let's say worst case scenario, if it's that kind of calculation isn't realistic, I reckon you could get 4 hours easily out of this playing the more advanced emulators. So between 4 and 6 hours. If you're playing Mega Drive or Game Boy or something like old school, this thing, GPD reckon 12 hours. That's mind-bogglingly good battery life. Absolutely astounding. Nothing else comes close. I don't know what things like the Steam Deck and the Odin and the INEO Air do in terms of battery life if they're playing less demanding games. Can they compete at that kind of level? Certainly when they're playing the really high-end stuff, no they can't, from what I've heard. There's the thing, I've never used one of those, so I can't speak from experience. This is just what I've heard, what I've seen in other people's reviews. Nothing out there sounds like it's getting close to this in terms of battery life. And that, for me, it'll emulate Wii, it'll emulate GameCube, it'll emulate PS2, it'll do it for hours on end, with a really nice screen that's just a bit too wide, really nice analog sticks and nice D-pad, and Bionic, learn a lesson for God's sake. It's comfortable. These grips are really, it sits in the hand, and that bit there, it just sits just right in my hands. And with that turbo boost for occasions when you just need it, I think it's bloody brilliant. It's bloody expensive, and I would probably have thought twice about buying one if I didn't have your contributions to my Patreon thing. But I do, and it's like, okay, other people aren't honestly, I think, doing... I don't think anyone else has reviewed this in a way that I think, yeah, that's right, I agree with everything they've said. Either they've had a pre-production model that doesn't have the full performance, or they just haven't been trying hard enough, or paying attention, or they just stuck in the wrong game and presumed, oh, well, it can't play this, so it can't play anything. And this... yeah, it's great. But you got to have deep pockets or a bunch of Patreon supporters to be able to get one. But you know, if you got the money, you could get one tomorrow. Order it by mid-afternoon. Droid Box, whatever, they're brilliant. I'm not paid to say that. Droid Box, give me money. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I feel like I've forgotten something, but I can't remember what. I'm going to move on now and just show you a whole load of gameplay footage of games that do play well on here. Please, after watching this, I mean, by all means skip all of that if you don't want to see the gameplay. I've said all the stuff I'm going to think about, or that I think about it. Don't ask me, where can I get ROMs for this? Don't ask me, how well does it play blah game. I'm not going to load up a load of games just to tell you how well it'll play them. So if it's not in this video, sorry, I don't know, and I'm... I sound so mean, but I get asked by so many people, how do you do this, where can I get that, does this work? Do you know? Okay, gameplay footage coming up. I don't know what button it is. There we go. Oh God. Okay, I really got to reconfigure these buttons. This is playing accurately because it's shite. The real game itself is shite. Let me... yeah, oh God. Atari, what were you thinking? I mean, I know what they were thinking. Let's do a virtual racing clone. Yeah, that'll do. Oops. It's checkered flag on the Atari Jaguar. It works. It would probably be better if it didn't. Raiden on the Atari Jaguar. I mean, this is where it would be nice to be able to make the overlays more translucent. Maybe you can. I should look into that. Give me that. There we go. I think we might be better off with the... oh dear. I was going to say we might be better off with the D-pad, but we're dead, so yeah, that's nicer on the D-pad. Oh, it would be better if I was more centered on the screen, because otherwise you can't see what I'm doing. Apologies. I'm paying more attention to the game than the camera screen. But anyway, as you can see, that works really quite nicely. Where's the super duper weapon button? There. Of course, I've completely forgotten which button I pressed. But there you go. As you can see, Jaguar works very nicely, and this is the first handheld I've ever played where Jaguar works nicely. Okay, this is Super Mario Kart DS on the Drastic emulator. I've got it up-resed. I think it's set at 2 by. So it looks lovely. It looks looks better than it looked on any of the other handhelds I played it on using this emulator, because it's up-resed and we've got more power, so the frame rate is just bang on. You can configure the screen layout, with whether you've got a big screen, small screen, or what screen goes where, and all of that. Not sure if it actually works as touch screen. Not entirely useful when the screen is tiny. The touch screen is tiny like that, anyway. But yeah, it's the best way to play DS games, and that's not on a DS. I probably should have saved one of those red shells. Oh, okay, there we go. There I was, not paying attention to how many shells I had left, but anyway, not going to focus too much on DS. It's a pretty safe bet to say it'll all run on here, and really well. Okay. This is V-Rally 2 on the PS1, playing on the Duck Station emulator and rendering at 3x, as people like to call it, which equates to 720p, and I'm not holding it straight so you can't see. It looks bloody amazing. Whoops. Unlike, oh god, This is just my typical drive to the shops. Or driving to work. I nearly had a prank the other day. Scared me. We won't go into that. But I didn't nearly roll it. Oh god, what's that idiot doing? Yeah, well, what can I say? This game looks great just on a PS1 anyway, but when it's up-resed, it looks really... You wouldn't think that's a PS1 game, you'd think it was... I don't know if you'd mistake it for a PS2 game, maybe a Dreamcast game, I don't know, but it's way impressive. Okay then, this is Ridge Racer on PS1, running on the Duck Station emulator. Again, we're at 3x resolution. Yes, me too. It's exactly what I wanted to see. Well, I'm talking bollocks, I mean, what I want to see will be coming later. Oops! Actually, I've already really shown you the really impressive stuff. But I'm waffling, ignore me, watch the game. Alright, as demonstrated, it works. There's kind of not much point showing games like this other than to say, this works, but you would expect it to. Let's move on to something else. Radiant Silvergun. Sega Saturn, Yaba-san Shiro emulator, running at probably 2x. Oops. I love this game, I suck at it. But I say that about most games. Oh god. Honestly, I can play it better than this, but I'm distracted by the fact that I'm recording a video and looking at other things like the camera to make sure I'm holding this thing in the right place. Oh, looky. But it is the first, I don't know if it's the first time. Very often when you play this on an emulator on a handheld, you've got to compromise between frame rate and resolution. It's like you could have it up res but the frame rate suffers, or you can have it at normal res and have it playing smooth. But this is playing like really smooth, and it's up resed, so it's gorgeous. It looks better than it would look playing on a real Saturn. Oh, it's stupid boy. My other favourite Saturn game, Manx TT Superbike, and I can't remember what button there we go. Yeah. I think I want that view, yes. This is tricky, oh dear, on some emulators. The frame rate struggles, and the controls, the analog stick on this is great for this. It's really as sensitive as you would want it, where others it's like using a D-pad even when you've got an analog controller. They're so all or nothing using those switch type sticks. I don't like them. But this, you can be much more sensitive, and it's not all or nothing. And if it's all or nothing when you're playing this game, it really compromises your ability to do well. Oops. Not that I'm doing well, but I'm doing better than I might have. Oops. But not much. But I really like this game, and it's the best I've played it on any emulator on a handheld. Oops. I don't know how other things, I mean, there are other modern handhelds that would do this equally as well, I'm sure. I'm sure the Steam Deck could do this, and those other ones that I was talking about earlier, but certainly none of the Anbernic handhelds, the cheap Chinese handhelds, they can't do this. Not like this. The RG552, I think, was the only one that I played that would play this at all, but this does it better. I think it's just that Android emulators are more developed than a lot of the Linux-based ones on things like the what's it called? Dingux, Open Dingux type operating systems. Oh dear. Okay, Looney Tunes Space Race for the Dreamcast. Running on, are we on Rycast? I can't remember. Oh god, it's the trigger button, isn't it? Steve, you're a Burke. I think we're on No, we're on that other one. I don't remember the name of the emulator. There are two. They're both worth having. They both work. I can't remember the controls at all. But here's a thing to note about this. When I played this on other handhelds, I could either, and I had no control over which I would get, it would either play the background music or it would have like the voice tracks and sound effects. But never both. This is doing both. Oh, and the emulator, it's Redream I'm playing this on. There we go. Memory is functioning for a moment. Oh, crap. Memory is functioning for a moment. Okay. I love this game, and it looks great on here. Every game with like cell shaded graphics that I play on here seems to work amazingly. Oh. Okay, well there we go. Let's try something else. Okay, this is Res for the Dreamcast, playing on the whatever emulator I said a minute ago. Because I've forgotten, because memory is a thing that doesn't seem to work with me these days. Not Rycast, the other one. I love this game. This game's amazing in VR as well, if you play it on a VR headset. More on the Quest actually than the PSVR. Anyway, moving on. So I'm really just giving you like a quick glimpse at each one to show this works, and really well. Right then, this is Sega GT on the Redream emulator for Dreamcast. Don't know what the buttons... oh, triggers, of course. Duh. It's quite dark. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up. But it's playing nicely. It's the first time I've actually played this one on here, so I'm pleased with that. It's very nice, very smooth. And this was Sega's answer to Gran Turismo, which I don't feel like they really succeeded, but it's still a good game. Oops. Okay, moving on. Okay, PSP on the PPSSPP emulator. We're at 2x or 2x or whatever, which I have never been able to... have I been able to do it? I was able to play it 1x, I think. RG552, did that do 1x or 2x? I can't remember, but it's a really bloody hard one to emulate. Oh, that's not the car I wanted.
Is being recalculated.
I need to not start until I've sorted out the music.
Your itinerary is being recalculated.
So this, whenever I've tried to emulate it on another handheld, it has oh god, really struggled. I think the 552 was just about managing it adequately, but this is kicking its ass.
Turn right.
And it looks and plays better on here than it plays on an actual PSP, which is awesome. Oops! Okay, so I'm still playing like an idiot. But it's great. It's my favourite PSP game, without a doubt, so I was always really frustrated and disappointed when it played so badly on other handhelds. Oh god. I don't know what side of the road I'm meant to be going on here. But yeah, this pleases me no end. Cool, did you see that? Very brief pause there. Yeah, a little bit of glitching. But is it going to be playable overall? Tiny little stutters. I think it's loading shaders when it does that. It does it on the first lap. Oops. No, that's the wrong button. You got shoulder buttons or triggers on the PSP, but only like one on either side, where this thing's got two on either side, and if you click the wrong one, you wind up somewhere you don't want to be, usually back in the menu. And I can never remember which it is. But this looks lovely. I do hope the camera's focused properly and so you can see. It looks better than it looks on the PSP, and the only issue is that initial momentary stuttering where it's loading shaders, and honestly it's a lot less intrusive than it is on any other handheld I played it on, and we are playing at increased resolution. It's super smooth. It is gorgeous. Honestly, it feels like it's playing more smoothly than on an actual PSP. I don't know if it is or if I just remember it wrong. because it's a long while since I played it on an actual PSP. Okay, well, moving on. Okay, on the Dolphin emulator, emulating GameCube. Super Monkey Ball, and it plays gloriously. It's great. I love this. I look at this and I think, am I missing something? There seems to be a level further down. It's like, what happens if you go... That's obviously there for a reason, but... Am I going through that the wrong way? I don't know. I remember this. It's a long... I say a long while. I've never spent a lot of time playing this. The first time I ever played it actually was... Oops, I didn't want to do that. The first time I ever played this was on a GBA. It was like a mini version. And even that was fun, if limited. But yes, it plays... I want to say flawlessly. If it's not perfect, I don't know what is not perfect about it. It's great. Okay, this is F-Zero GX on the Dolphin emulator, emulating GameCube. And this is a game where this emulator on this handheld does struggle. If you hear the sound, it's stuttering like mad. This is definitely not playing at full speed. But having said that, while it sounds awful, I've never played this on the actual console, so I don't know how it should look. But as someone who's never played it, just playing it like this, I find it very enjoyable. It's a fun experience. Maybe it's easier because it's running slower. I don't know. I just... The mangled, garbled sound, I'm just like looking on as... I mean, there's music in there somewhere, but it's so garbled, it's just like... It's background noise. It's just racing noise. That's how I'm choosing to interpret it. I don't know if there's the option to turn the music off, actually. That might help. I should look into that. Oh god, and here we are with it half off the screen. Apologies. I don't know how many games I've done that on. There's probably the worst footage you're ever going to get. There are other buttons I could be pressing to go faster, and I can't remember what they are. Whatever. Oh, that's something. I've never played this. Well, since getting this handheld and setting up this emulator this morning, I've never played this game before today. Oh, like I didn't know that did that. The shoulder button makes you sidestep or something. But the other one doesn't seem to. No, I don't think I've got the other button. No, I haven't got them set up right. Duh. Anyway, there's that. Okay, Sega Classics Collection, PS2 on the, what's it called, Ether SX? Ether something or other. PS2 emulator for Android. I love Virtua Racing. I have, oh god, always loved Virtua Racing. First time I played it was on the 32X. Playing it on handhelds has often been a limited kind of experience. Initially, like I had handhelds that wouldn't even play the 32X version. Recently I've been playing it on the Saturn, which with this view is okay, but with other views is not great. I've never had a handheld apart from the GPD Win, which would play the Windows MAME emulator, and that would play virtual racing on MAME. But I've never had a normal conventional kind of Android or Dingux handheld that would play the MAME version of virtual racing, and this one won't. But it will play the PS2 version, which is fantastic. I love this version. Honestly, I think I like this more than the MAME arcade original. And since I'm not sure, I can't tell looking at it, is this just stretched to widescreen, or have I got it in widescreen mode? I don't remember, but it looks okay to my eyes anyway. And with all the reflections and stuff on the car that you're getting, I think I like this more than what you would play on the Switch. But I've never played the Switch, so I might disagree with myself if I did. But I love this. Okay, moving on. Okay, Shadow of the Colossus. Ether SX2, emulating PS2. Now, your guy runs around okay when he's not on the horse, which is having a strop and walking away from me. Come here, horse. I've turned off some of the detail settings to try and keep this running at an adequate frame rate. Get on your bloody horse, you fool. Look, horse, stand still, damn it. Come here, come on. Get on the... There we go. Now, maybe those settings I've done will help. It's pretty slow. It's such a long while since I played it that I don't remember how fast the horse ran when you played it. I don't know if this will be playable when you come to a Colossus. Not at all sure. But just... yeah, okay. I knew that already. Just being able to bimble around on the horse in this landscape is great in itself. Yeah, I think it would be playable. I don't know, but I will find out. Okay, this pleases me no end, because while I've been trying to play this game on the PSP on various handhelds since forever, I never dreamed that I'd be able to play the PS2 version on a handheld. But here we are. Okay, had to turn the music off because copyright and all that, but here we are. Oh dear. Oh god. Get out the way. It looks gorgeous. I look at it and I think that car looks kind of squashed up, and would it be better in widescreen? And I'm unsure. How do I change my view?
You are driving in the wrong direction. Please turn around.
It kind of doesn't matter if I'm... I mean, the speedo there is proper circular, where I think if I stretched it to widescreen it would be an oval, which suggests it would be the wrong aspect ratio. But to my eyes, these cars look kind of tall and narrow, which makes me want to set it to widescreen. I don't know. Whoops, I'm not paying attention. It's lovely. I'm chuffed to bits that this will play on here. Anyway, okay, this is, what is this? Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, something like that. Whoops, I've got it off the camera screen thing. This one takes a lot of tweaking in the settings. It's on the Dolphin emulator. We're emulating the Wii, which is something I didn't think this handheld was going to be able to do, but it does. And it does it really well. This game is one of those where in the beginning it stutters for a few seconds at the start of the lap while it's loading shaders, and after that it plays like this. But you do have to mess around with the settings, something about mip-maps, loading of mip-maps and stuff. I trial and error basically. And it's a great game. I mean, it's not, oh god, okay, that's just mean. No, we haven't. We've got me throwing up because I'm upside down. Whoops.
Nice hit from Sonic.
Someone freed Willie and sent him to the races.
That's just one more lap to go.
Yeah, it...
Egg alert, egg alert.
Oh, what?
That's gone all
I want to tell that guy to shut the hell up. It does, it blows my mind how well this plays and assorted. I haven't tried many Wii games on it yet, and honestly I'm running out of storage space. So, yeah. It's very easy to fill that 256 gigs. And maybe there's a way to set a micro SD card as internal storage and transfer files from a PC, but I couldn't make it work when I tried it, so who knows. Okay, this is Super Mario Galaxy, playing on the Dolphin emulator, emulating the Wii. I messed around for quite a while before I could figure out how to make the pointer controller work, because you need to like point at the screen on certain bits of this game, but it does work and it emulates the game well. I've got further than this. I did get onto one of the worlds where you're romping around and chasing rabbits and then off to another place, but I forgot to save it. So here we are right back at the start, and I'm just demonstrating the fact that it runs. And it runs better than it's actually running right at this minute. I can hear a little bit of a stretching in the audio on this. But when you get onto the levels proper, certainly the ones that I played on, which isn't many, like 1 or 2, they ran perfectly. Or, to my eye, perfectly anyway. Okay, that's... Get on with it. Okay, I'm going to stop there. It emulates a lot of systems very, very well. Wii included. I haven't tried... I have tried running 3DS on it, on the Citra emulator, and it's not up to it. It just... The game, I tried several games and none of them were up to it. They were inconsistent or just too slow, not playable. I haven't tried, is it Cemu that runs the Wii U? I haven't even tried that. I mean, it's pushing the limits running the Wii. I don't imagine it would run Wii U. I'm not going to try. Okay. Okay then, there you have it, the GPD XP Plus. I love it. It is very capable. It's a good size, it's got amazing battery life, I like the controls, I like almost everything about it. I wish the screen wasn't quite so wide. I wish using SD cards wasn't so restricted, and I wish it was cheaper, because it is exceptionally expensive. I can't tell you if it's worth the kind of money you have to pay, but I can tell you that for my own personal requirements in a handheld, this is as good as it gets. I want something that will play PS2, I want it to be not huge, and I want good battery life. This does those really well. So your requirements might be different, and there is no getting away from that price. But that's the world we live in today. Make of it what you will. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was revealing in the way that I feel certain other videos haven't been. Which is not to knock any of those other video makers, because I think they didn't necessarily have a complete final updated version of this. So yeah. Okay, I'll shut up waffling now. Thank you for watching.
What do you mean, subscribe to his Patreon? I already paid for breakfast. What more does he want? What? Oh, seemed he wasn't invited. Oh, I suppose I could eat his as well.